Imagine an artificial mind with access to everything: ancient languages, historical records, deep learning algorithms, and a single goal: to decipher the oldest secrets of humanity. Now imagine that this mind was placed before the Bible, one of the most controversial and revered books in history. In recent years, artificial intelligence has infiltrated every aspect of our daily lives, from virtual customer service to the creation of works of art. But few would have imagined that it would also become a detective of biblical mysteries. And the most shocking part, it found patterns that not even the most erudite theologians had ever detected. Scientists from renowned universities such as Duke and Haifa collaborated with advanced AIs to analyze the sacred texts, and what they discovered could change everything we know about the origin of the Bible and even about the future of humanity. If you think that sounds exaggerated, consider this. An AI identified that the Dead Sea Scrolls might not be mere copies, but the authentic original biblical writings, created over 2,000 years ago. And more, it revealed that the Bible was built in layers over time, by multiple authors, each guided by different worldviews and spiritual visions. But this is just the beginning. Leave a like if you're curious about topics like this, and get ready, because what comes next is simply chilling. Everything began with a simple, yet provocative question. The AI began working like a literary detective, tracking linguistic signatures, lexical patterns, and grammatical structures with almost supernatural precision. Who really wrote the Bible? For centuries, this question haunted scholars, the faithful, and even skeptics. Many believed Moses had written the first 5 books. The famous theologians, archaeologists, linguists, and computer scientists joined forces, and with them, a special guest, an artificial intelligence created exclusively to dissect the Bible. Its name, classified, and style that we were able to identify invisible authors with accuracy, to decode writing styles, compare word usage, and identify patterns invisible to the human eye, or that a movie script has Tarantino's signature even before seeing the credits. Others claimed the Bible was a collective work, the result of generations of writers inspired by God, each adding their own layer of wisdom and spiritual insight. But what if there were a way to scientifically prove who wrote what? That was the question that drove an interdisciplinary team at Duke University in the United States. The mission was clear: analyze the first 9 books of the Bible, including Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, and the 2 books of Samuel. Each chapter was meticulously digitized, indexed, and processed. And then, the first revelations came to light. The texts did not come from a single mind, but from at least 3 distinct literary styles. It was like finding different voices hidden beneath a single narrative. Thomas Homer, one of the researchers, stated, even simple words like no, king, or God appeared with such specific frequency that was just the beginning. The AI had opened a door, and what it found on the other side would shake the foundations of both faith and history. Have you ever tried to guess who wrote a text just by its style? Like realizing a poem is by Drummond and not Venetian? That is exactly what this AI did with the Bible, on a much deeper and millennia-old scale. By processing the first 9 books, the AI didn't just read, it studied, decoded, and compared thousands of times. Every sentence, every word, even pauses and repeated constructions were analyzed. And what did it find? 3 distinct styles, each carrying a literary signature that was invisible, yet unmistakable. These styles were named by scholars as 1. Deuteronomistic style, generally dated to the 6th century BCE, focusing on laws and the centralization of worship in Jerusalem. 2. Deuteronomistic history, responsible for narratives like the conquest of Canaan and the Babylonian exile. 3. Priestly style, older texts with emphasis on rituals, genealogies, and sacrifices, found in Genesis, Exodus, and Leviticus. The AI achieved something previously thought impossible. It assigned each chapter of the Bible to one of these styles based on objective linguistic patterns, such as the use of specific words or sentence structures. An example, the term Elohim appeared predominantly in priestly-styled texts, while YHWH was more common in Deuteronomy. The precision was so astonishing that the AI created a sort of stylistic dictionary, categorizing over 1,500 terms used in specific ways by different author groups. As if that weren't surprising enough, the AI also pointed out subtle contradictions and abrupt changes within books previously believed to be written as single, cohesive texts. A striking case was the books of Samuel. The AI demonstrated that 1 Samuel is stylistically radically different from 2 Samuel, proving they were written by different authors, and likely in different periods. These discoveries not only challenged ancient assumptions, but also opened up new possibilities to understand how the Bible evolved, adapted, and was shaped over centuries. And you may be asking, how far can this go? Well, the next revelations involve secrets hidden for centuries in desert caves, and may rewrite the history of the Bible itself. As the AI delved deeper into the biblical texts, it became clear that this was not a single book, but rather a mosaic of voices, eras, and worldviews. The three revealed styles, D, D, R, H, and P, were not just variations in writing, but represented distinct theological lines, shaped by political crises, social transformations, and ancient wars. Deuteronomistic style, the law as the center. This style emerged during the reign of Josiah, around the 6th century BC, and carries a tone of urgency and centralization. Jerusalem as the spiritual center, the laws as the only path. Its focus, one God, one temple, one truth. The AI detected this style through the repeated use of words like Shem, Bered, and Love. It was as if this anonymous author were crying out, "Return to the covenant." Many of the most well-known commandments arise from here. Why the insistence? Because, according to historians, these texts were born in times of threat, when Israel had to unite or fall. Deuteronomistic history, the rise and fall of a people. This second style reads almost like a biblical epic. It narrates victories, defeats, betrayals, and exiles, always with the destiny of the people of Israel in the background. Here the AI noticed a curious pattern: the obsessive use of words like king, people, and commandment. These texts seem to warn, all glory without obedience leads to ruin. They are dramatic texts, as if the authors wanted to document for future generations the errors that led to exile. A lament disguised as heroic prose. Priestly style, creation, rituals, and identity. Finally, the priestly style takes us back to Genesis, literally to the beginning. But don't expect pure poetry. This style is technical, ritualistic. It talks about lineages, sacrifices, rules for worship. It's an attempt to rebuild identity after the fall. The AI identified terms like Kodesh Korban and Toledo as clear markers of this style. It was as if the priests were saying, even in exile, we are still the chosen people. They were written in different centuries, by authors with divergent and at times conflicting views on God and the destiny of humanity. And why does all this matter? Because these styles did not coexist harmoniously. More than that, the AI revealed that some Bible chapters were inserted much later, like the book of Esther or parts of Genesis 14, which simply did not match any of the three main styles. This suggests something disturbing. Parts of the Bible may have been added long after the supposed end of its composition. The AI detected these strange texts as displaced fragments in time, written by different hands, in different political contexts, with objectives, perhaps less spiritual and more strategic. And there's more. Discovered in desert caves, they may be more than just ancient copies. A new enigma began to emerge: the mysterious Dead Sea Scrolls. According to the AI, some of them may be the originals themselves. Imagine walking into a cave and finding an intact scroll hidden for more than 2 millennia. Since then, archaeologists have been unearthing fragments in 11 caves near the Dead Sea, in Qumran. Now imagine that this scroll might be an original version of the Bible, not just a copy. That's what happened in 1947, when Bedouin shepherds stumbled upon the Dead Sea Scrolls by chance. Over 1,000 ancient documents have been found, many containing biblical books, others filled with mystical texts, community rules, and even forgotten prophecies. But one question always loomed: what is the real age of these men? To answer that, research used writing patterns and material aging to precisely determine the temporal origin of each fragment. What Enoch discovered surprised even the most skeptical. 2 of the manuscripts analyzed were about 100 years older than any previously found. That would place them exactly in the time of the original biblical authors. In other words, these documents may not be copies, but the original texts themselves. Karen Lute Rasmussen, a physicochemical expert and team member, explained. But even with that range, the chance that we are facing the foundational texts of the Judeo-Christian faith is real and terrifyingly close. But in this case, we might be looking at something directly from the author's pen. Normally, we deal with copies of copies made centuries later. There is no definitive consensus yet. More analyses are underway. Enoch has a margin of accuracy of about 30 years. After all, if these manuscripts are indeed originals, what else might be hidden in the sands of time? What truths were buried? What prophetic visions still await decoding? While Enoch continues its silent work, one thing is clear: the story of the Bible is far from over. And perhaps the most important revelations are still to come, but by multiple minds over centuries, reflecting struggles, fears, hopes, and diverse interpretations of the divine. In a world where technology advances faster than human understanding, the greatest irony might be this: but at the originals themselves, preserved by time, like capsules of truth, waiting for the right moment to emerge. An artificial intelligence created by us may be about to reveal the oldest secrets of our own faith. These discoveries aren't just academic. They cut deeply into beliefs, traditions, and the identities of millions. The AI showed that the Bible wasn't written by a single hand. And with the Dead Sea Scrolls, we may not be looking at copies, But what does this tell us about the future? Maybe that it too will be multiple, written by different hands, filled with versions, interpretations, and now deciphered by eyes that do not blink. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next mysteries. We want to know what you think about these discoveries. And you, what do you believe? Do you think we are closer to the truth? Or just closer to even bigger questions? Leave your comment below. If this content resonated with you, leave a like, share it with someone who will be amazed by this story. Because if AI could read the past, imagine what it can still tell us about the future.